on Denver 7 News at 4. The city of Denver's free trash service may soon be a thing of the past. We'll take a look at what it'll cost you.
More people are leaving traditional full-time jobs to do freelance or contract-only work. What people are finding it takes to succeed on your own. And more charging stations may not be the only answer to getting more people on the road in electric cars. We're getting an inside look at the self-charging pavement that is in development right now.
And a sudden witness sheds light on President Trump's response to the chaos at the Capitol during the January 6th insurrection.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now."
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Porter. The star witness of a surprise hearing of the House January 6th committee was an aide to the former Trump White House chief of staff. Cassidy Hutchinson had very close access to Mark Meadows and to former President Trump during the critical time after the 2020 presidential election. As Karen Kaifa shows us, Hutchinson told lawmakers the White House was warned January 6th could end in chaos and violence.
Former Trump White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson had unique West Wing access during the lead up to January 6, 2021, as a constant presence alongside former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows.
He didn't look up from his phone and said something to the effect of, "There's a lot going on, Cass, but I don't know, things might get real bad on January 6th.
Her bombshell testimony Tuesday, the focus of the 6th public hearing of the House committee investigating the Capitol insurrection, saying the Trump White House was aware of the potential for violence on January 6th and that former President Donald Trump knew some of the crowd at his January 6th rally was armed, but wanted metal detectors at security checkpoints removed to boost crowd size.
Something to the effect of, "Take the effing mags away, they're not here to hurt me, let them in, let my people in. They can march to the Capitol after the rally's over. They can march from the ellipse. Take the effing mags away. Then they can march to the Capitol."
Recalling how Trump set off a scramble with his own demand to march, she relayed an account by other aides of an alleged physical altercation with Secret Service when he was told he could not.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel.
Hutchinson also testified Trump defended the rioters who chanted for the hanging of Vice President Mike Pence. Before Tuesday, Hutchinson gave several hours of closed-door testimony. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Here in Colorado, it's election day. You have until 7 o'clock to get your ballot turned in. About 830,000 ballots had already been cast going into today. There are several races we will be keeping an eye on this evening. In the Republican U.S. Senate primary, Ron Hanks and Joe O'Dea are seeking the nomination to take on Democrat incumbent Michael Bennet. And Heidi Canal and Greg Lopez are seeking the GOP nomination to run against Democratic Governor Jared Polis in November. We'll have election coverage all night this evening. Look for results tonight both on Denver 7 and Local 3, as well as on the Denver 7 Plus app. Well, hundreds of people gathered at the state capitol last night to rally in support of abortion rights. The health procedure is protected in Colorado, and demonstrators say they're speaking for other women across the country. Now, 2 state lawmakers are filing a bill to further protect Colorado abortion providers. The details haven't been finalized. The bill could include securing business licenses for abortion providers or helping out-of-state providers transfer to Colorado. The medical director for the Boulder Valley Women's Health Center says the legislation is needed.
It's scary to me to look at some of the states where it is illegal or where it's going to be very restricted, and looking at what they're trying to do to providers in terms of, imposing penalties that are financial or even, going to prison, losing your license.
The future of the bill will likely depend on the outcome of the November election, when Republicans have a chance to regain control of the state Senate.
Following the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, the Biden administration is reminding the health insurance industry it's obligated to cover contraception in all 50 states under the Affordable Care Act. The Department of Health and Human Services says it wants Medicaid and Medicare providers to make sure staff has the right training for family planning care. They're also calling for protections around patient and provider privacy when it comes to abortion. HHS just launched a new website detailing federal rights to reproductive health care. That URL right here on the bottom of your screen. Pharmacies are limiting purchases of emergency birth control after seeing a surge in demand. Known as the morning after pill, the over-the-counter drug is meant to stop a pregnancy before it happens. Rite Aid and CVS both set a cap of 3 pills per customer. They say this will be lifted once supply can meet demand again. Meanwhile, Facebook and Instagram are under fire for limiting posts about abortion pills. These are prescription pills that can end a pregnancy. The Associated Press tested a post on Facebook writing, "If you send me your address, I will mail you abortion pills." The post was removed within minutes. The AP then posted the same sentence but switched out abortion pills for guns. That post was not removed. Facebook and Instagram have policies that prohibit users from selling or gifting guns and pharmaceuticals. Both platforms say they are looking more into how these posts are regulated.
The public health impact of gun violence is the focus of a virtual conference tonight at CU. It will bring together experts in fields like child psychology and emergency treatment from CU Boulder and the CU Anschutz Medical Campus. They will share their research and findings to help the community understand the mental health impacts that can lead to gun violence and ways to help prevent it. CU Boulder's chancellor says the biggest goal of this conference is education.
We're working to make sure that children in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools really understand ways of being more healthy psychologically, mentally, as well as physically.
That conference starts at 5 and is open to anyone. It will have a question and answer session. Well, the city of Denver will soon start charging for trash pickup based on the volume of trash a household produces. The fees range from $9 to $21 a month based on the size of your trash bin. But the new program also eliminates the fees for composting and increases recycling pickups from bi-weekly to weekly. Those in favor of this plan say it could dramatically reduce the amount of waste that ends up in landfills. Those opposed to it say it could be a big financial burden.
We're struggling as it is. And when you have children and grandchildren that trying to go to college and so many other things, we don't need any more debt. And we have to do the majority of the work to get the trash picked up. So why charge us more?
An audit of our own waste right here in Denver has shown that 50% of the material that we put in our trash cans is compostable. 25% of what goes in the trash can is recyclable. Valley is only 25% of what we throw away is actually trash.
The new fees on trash pickup won't take effect until next January. Low-income households could qualify for reduced trash fees or no trash fees at all.
As of now, the only way the LGBTQ community can be counted on the Census survey is if they're married or live with their partner. Researchers with the Human Rights Campaign estimate only about 16% of the LGBTQ population is being represented where they live because of this.
Without knowing how many people there are, what their needs are, where they're located, it's harder to, get policymakers on board, to get people invested in developing programs to address health disparities, to even identify health disparities to begin with.
Although other federal surveys exist that better represent the LGBTQ population, the census is used as the main benchmark. She says it also impacts things like hiring and helping businesses determine what to sell. Now the Census Bureau is requesting $10 million to study which questions are best to ask on future surveys.
It's not that a question is just added to the census. It can take multiple years and it goes through multiple stages of cognitive testing, pilot testing, review. You have to bring people together to decide on the proper wording for questions. You have to make sure that it works in a whole range of populations. That can be done through, proxy reporting if somebody else is reporting on behalf of a person in their household.
But there are some hurdles to get the money. The $10 million would have to be approved in the 2023 fiscal year budget. Bill in Congress needs to pass that ensures safe data collection of the LGBTQ community, and that is waiting on a vote from the Senate. You can price compare just about anything online. One service in particular is still very hard to shop for.
Grieving families aren't going to do this. We don't think they should have to either.
The new data on funeral service pricing and the push to make it more transparent.
And we're expecting a bit of a cool down by the end of the week. Up next on Denver 7 News at 4, Mike tells us how much cooler and when. Plus, there are new cameras downtown watching you park, and they're not just there for your safety.